Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youth and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. Is 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor? Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery? Why they whitewash our history? Keep dividing is their plan. All in all, such a scam. Algorithm very sly, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is The Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together. Hey, Monday, cut to the chase. Donald Trump is a fascist. He's an out of control, mad tyrant. He's lawless, he's unconstitutional, he's openly corrupt. And I could go on. But for this past year, as I've said and others have said, fascism's here. My God, fascism has come to America. My God, we've got a president who uses the levers and powers of government to go after his political enemies. Fascism is here. We have masked federal thugs on our streets, abusing, harassing, and terrorizing citizens and immigrants. Fascism is here. We have attacks on free speech coming from this administration every single day. We deny visas and student visas to people from around the world if we don't like some of the things they've said or written. Fascism is here. We have the military that has been deployed on our streets in this country. Fascism is here. And again, I could go on and on and on, giving examples of Donald Trump's fascist activities, the Republican Party's open embrace of fascism, make America great again, target and terrorize, blame brown and black people for America not being great, and then target and terrorize those brown and black people. Fascism, that's fascism. Fascism is here. But what has always been to me an equally disgusting aspect of this past year. Okay. So, yeah, we have a tyrant in the White House. We have, as I say all the time, the very thing our founders feared in the White House. What is equally fascinating to me and equally disgusting to me and equally troublesome to me is all the people who have let and enabled and allowed the fascist to be a fascist. All of Trump's enablers. A fascist can't be a fascist without enablers, without cheerleaders, without people who bend the knee to the fascist, without people who turn the other way, without people who bow, without people who become the fascist accomplices. A fascist can't live, a fascist can't thrive, a fascist can't breathe unless people allow him to. And for this past year, the number of people, the number of institutions, the number of colleges and universities, the number of law firms, the number of Republican elected officials, the number of voters, the number of CEOs, the number of big tech guys, the number of people in this country who have bent the knee to the fascist and enabled him to be a fascist. The number of people who've settled with him, who've cut deals with him, the number of people who've allowed him to do openly fascist things. The lack of courage, I guess, is what I always come back to. The utter lack of courage in this country this past year from every single member of my former political party, from most major corporate CEOs in this country, from so many media organizations, right? To make sure they get a seat at the table or they've got a spot in the White House briefing room. They allow Trump to dictate what they write and what they say. The cowardice that has been on full display this past year has allowed Donald Trump to do what he's done. Without the cowardice from my former political party, from the private sector, from universities, without the blanket cowardice from all of the fascist enablers, Donald Trump wouldn't have been able to do what he's done. So when someone in the public sphere, when someone stands up in the public square and stands up to the fascist and stands up to the bully, stands up to the tyrant, it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened often. So when it happens, we shout, thank you. We applaud. Any individual or institution in this country, when it happens, and it's only happened rarely, when anyone stands up against this fascist in the White House, we applaud. Jerome Powell, head of the Fed, head of the Federal Reserve, last night stood up in the public square and looked at the fascist and said, hell no. I'm not going to back down. Hell no. I'm not going to bend the knee to you. Keep that up for a sec, Keith. You may have seen this last night. Trump has taken his Justice Department and he's sicked his Justice Department on the Fed chair. Again, think about that. We'll go over this in a minute. Ain't supposed to happen, right? The President of the United States ordering the Justice Department to investigate the Fed chair. Not supposed to happen on so many levels. But this happened last night. The Justice Department is launching a criminal investigation into Jerome Powell. It's all utter bullshit. But what's important is, thanks for that, Keith. What's important is this broke yesterday, and Jerome Powell, within a matter of an hour or two, got in front of the TV cameras last night and publicly spoke up and spoke back against the president and said in so many words, this president is attacking the independence of the Fed. He's unhappy because politically he may not like what we're doing when it comes to monetary policy. He may want lower interest rates or whatever. So he's using the Justice Department to make up some sham criminal investigation of me. Jerome Powell stood in front of the country last night and said, it's all bullshit. Here's why the president's doing what he's doing, because he's not happy about where things are at economically, and he's trying to exert his control and inject politics into Fed policy. Again, not to drop down into layers of Fed or economic or monetary policy right now. The only point I want to make is Jerome Powell punched back. Trump's using the Justice Department to go after his political enemies. He can't do that. He shouldn't do that. That's wrong. That's unconstitutional. But this is where we are right now. Jerome Powell last night said, no, it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to put up with any of that. And he got in front of the American people and he punched Trump in the face. Courage. And maybe, and Jerome Powell seems like a great man, a public servant, a by the book, by the law kind of a guy. Maybe what Jerome Powell did last night, Trump tells the Justice Department, launch a criminal investigation into him, like Trump has done so often this past year. Jerome Powell, like everybody else, doesn't keep his mouth shut, doesn't knock on the president's door, get down on his knee and say, oh, great, Mr. Leader, please tell your Justice Department to back off. What do you want? What do you need? Jerome Powell didn't do any of that. Jerome Powell said, get me in front of a TV camera. I'm going to tell the nation what this fucking coward bully is doing. A courageous move by Jerome Powell. Maybe it's not so courageous, but we live in a time right now void of any public displays of courage against Trump. So maybe that's why what Jerome Powell did last night seems so off the charts courageous. Like I've had over the years, since I walked away from Trump publicly 7.5, almost 8 years ago, I've had a number of people come up to me and say, oh, Joe, man, you publicly opposed Trump. That destroyed you within the party. You ruined, you took a blowtorch to your career. Oh, Joe, how courageous of you. My buddy and former colleague, Adam Kinzinger, people say the same thing to him all the time. Oh, Adam, you did the right thing. You stood up against Trump. Adam did as well. How courageous of you. And I say to people who tell me that, As Adam Kinzinger says to people who tell them that, no, we were just doing the right thing. We just did what we thought was right. We did our job. But in a weird way, what someone like I did 7.5 years ago, what someone like Adam did 4 years ago, what Jerome Powell did last night is really courageous in these times because so few people do it. The media companies don't want investigations. They want access, so they bow to the leader. My former Republican Party colleagues all want to get reelected and stay in power and stay relevant, so they bow to the leader. Corporate CEOs want to benefit financially. They want a seat at the table, so they bow to the leader. My former world of right-wing media, man, I want an audience. I want a show. I want ratings. So I got to sing the praises of the leader. I couldn't do that, but everybody else in right-wing media did. So they bowed to the leader. Donald Trump ordered his Justice Department to investigate Jerome Powell for utterly no reason. Jerome Powell last night didn't bow. He stood up and he punched the bully, the fascist, back. He stood in front of the American people and he told us what the truth was. He told us why Trump ordered this criminal investigation, because Trump, the president of the United States, is trying to exert his influence and his power over Fed policy. The Fed is an independent agency. And Powell stood in front of us last night and told us this is why Trump's doing what he's doing. And it's wrong. And he won't cave to that pressure, Jerome Powell said. The Fed chair, Jerome Powell, has more decency, courage, and love of country in his right little pinky finger than you could find in the entirety of every single member of my former political party. So many books will be written about this era. And I just believe Republican cowardice, corporate cowardice, media cowardice is going to be a major theme. Donald Trump has been allowed to be the dangerous, corrupt, cruel, ignorant, lying, fascist he is because people have been cowards. Damn near everyone has been a coward. Damn near everyone in my former political party these past 9 to 10 years has been a coward. And they've allowed and enabled Trump to do what he's done. Blame the fascists until the cows come home, but blame the fascists' enablers. And maybe, I'll close with Powell on this, maybe Jerome Powell is the perfect antidote to Trump. I mean, think about it. Jerome Powell, quiet dude, an unassuming dude, right? He's not going to rock your socks. He's not going to float your boat. He's not going to excite you. He's a pretty reserved, unassuming dude, a quiet dude. Clearly a fearless dude. Clearly, as he demonstrated again last night in front of the cameras, a tough dude. A by the book dude. A by the law dude. A put the interest of the country first dude. Think about that. Think about Jerome Powell for a moment. quiet, unassuming, fearless, tough, by the law, put the country first. All of that right there is the utter antithesis of Donald Trump. Maybe Jerome Powell's the hero we need. A quiet, cool, unassuming guy who's tougher than shit. By the book, by the law, country first. The antithesis of Trump. Maybe Jerome Powell's the hero we all need. I've been haunted by something all weekend. Haven't been feeling well the last few days either, but I've been haunted by something all weekend. Fucking bitch. Pardon my language. Those words. Fucking bitch. I've been haunted all weekend by those words. That masked ICE agent who shot and killed Renee Good. He's caught on tape. You've seen it and you've heard it. He's caught on video calling her a fucking bitch after he shot her. Just think about that for a moment. He fires 3 shots, point blank range, into her face. That car then speeds off and crashes into another car. She probably died, Renee did, instantly. And after he did that, and she barrels toward an accident, hitting and ramming into another car, he's caught on tape saying, "What a fucking bitch. Fucking bitch," this ICE agent said to her. After he shot her and killed her. It's the cruelty. Every day, and it's been this way for months, we are bombarded with images and pictures and videos of these masked federal thugs openly, almost proudly, oftentimes enthusiastically engaged in acts of cruelty against American citizens and against immigrants. Perfectly encapsulated in what that ICE agent in Minneapolis said to Renee Good after he shot her. Fucking bitch. That's what he thinks of her. That's what he thought of her. Fucking bitch. Maybe you do what I do, but I bombard myself with watching as many of the videos of what ICE is doing on our streets, man, because I want to know about it and I want to see it and I want to put it out there. I'm telling you, hundreds every day of ICE agents ramming into cars, pushing people down on the ground, beating up people, getting in the face of people, walking up and daring, challenging people, escalating violence all over the place. The one agent, there was an agent, I think it might have been Charlotte, An American citizen standing there filming this agent, and this tough guy, Matt, of course, he's got his mask on. Big tough guy says, "You haven't learned your lesson? You all haven't learned your lesson yet after what happened to that bitch up in Minneapolis? You still haven't learned your lesson?" As this American citizen, a woman, stands there just filming him. And then this big tough guy grabs for her phone. And he's caught on tape. "You all haven't learned your lesson yet, huh? After that bitch was killed in Minneapolis." Fascism. I said early, like as in last spring, that this issue, what Trump and his masked thugs are going to do on our street, I said early last year, is going to be the biggest single issue in this country heading into the midterms. And it is, because I'll tell you what, and I posted this yesterday. The deal is, the truth is, and I say this because I come from the MAGA base. I engage with Trump supporters every single day. Been doing it for years. And yeah, the truth is, Trump's base just loves what ICE is doing. Absolutely loves what ICE is doing. Trump's base loves it. But here's the deal. Most Americans don't. Most Americans do not love what ICE is doing. Most Americans are disgusted by, horrified by what ICE is doing. It happens pretty much every day. Somebody will say something to me. A couple of days ago, an independent, he's not MAGA, he's an independent guy, voted for Trump in 24. Voted for Trump. Told me 2 days ago. By the way, voted for Trump primarily because of this issue of immigration and how the Democrats had messed up this issue of immigration. Here's an independent, not MAGA, an independent guy, young guy, early mid-30s, voted for Trump in 24. He told me 2 days ago, that's it. He said to me almost word for word, "Look, Joe," this isn't MAGA, this is an independent who voted for Trump. He said, "Look, Joe, I know the Democrats really dropped the ball on immigration, but man, what Trump's doing now, this is like ugly. This is like cruel. This is like he said the word dictatorships. Like, this is like what dictatorships do. We can't have that here in this country." This guy told me he's voting Democrat up and down the ballot in November solely because of this issue, immigration. And he voted almost solely because of this issue in 24, this issue of immigration. But Donald Trump, through the actions of his masked federal thugs, has taken immigration enforcement in this country to an ugly, dark, cruel, extreme, un-American place. And as much as I hear from Trump's MAGA base every day, they love, love, love ICE, the MAGA base isn't the majority of Americans, and most Americans don't. So a little bit of hope this Monday. You shoot and kill an innocent woman, and as she's flying off to crash into another vehicle, you call her a fucking bitch. It's on tape. He said it. There is no way on God's green earth most Americans would condone what he said or would agree with what he said. Most Americans would be horrified by what he said. And what I'm saying to you is every single day, there are hundreds of examples of these thugs. And look, I'm pro cop. I've always been pro cop. ICE, these guys ain't cops. And let me tell you something. I've spoken plenty with local cops, law enforcement in this country over the course of the last few months. They utterly oppose what ICE, these thugs, these federal agents are doing on our streets. Cops do, local law enforcement does, but every day there are vivid examples of their cruelty, their meanness, their cruelty. They believe that this is how they should be behaving because they believe Stephen Miller and Donald Trump have told them to be this way. Final thought. By the way, before I get to my final thought, I'm gonna righteously angry shout from the mountaintop every day about and against ICE. If you want to do something about ICE, please go to Paxis.app. There it is right there, Paxis.app. This is our Know Your Rights app that we've built for immigrants and citizens in this country. The first working version of this app will be out this month. We've launched a GoFundMe site to help raise a little bit of money so that we can distribute this Know Your Rights app and get it into the hands of the immigrants and citizens, all of us, but mainly the immigrants in this country who are targeted and terrorized every freaking hour somewhere in this country by ICE. So please go to Paxis.app. There it is right there. Read about our Know Your Rights app and give what you can. Thank you. Final thought. And this is just a basic civics lesson. I'll expand upon this later. But hey, American people, every now and then we just got to remind ourselves of a few truths. American people, and especially, by the way, you younger Americans who kind of only know what things have been like since this fascist has been in the White House or has dominated the political scene the last 10 years. Hey, Americans, just a really brief civics lesson. The Federal Reserve is independent. It's an independent agency. It does not work for the president. It does not do what the president wants it to do. The Federal Reserve is walled off from politics, walled off from partisan politics. The Fed doesn't work for the president. By the way, Americans, especially you younger Americans, the Justice Department is an independent agency. The Justice Department is independent. Why? Because justice is independent. Justice shouldn't be partisan or political. The Justice Department, boys and girls, does not work for the president. The Attorney General is not the president's lawyer. The Attorney General is the top law enforcement officer for the country. The Attorney General, the Justice Department, answers to the law and the Constitution. Partisan politics at all, should never enter the equation when we talk about justice in this country. And by the way, last one, boys and girls, while I'm on this, Congress. Remember Congress? Hey, boys and girls, it's an independent branch of government. 3 branches of government. Congress is an independent branch of the federal government. Congress doesn't work for the president. Congress is its own thing. The legislative branch is its own thing. Congress doesn't work for the executive. Just a reminder, because everything this president has been doing with the Fed, with the Justice Department, and with Congress has been utterly wrong, utterly unlawful, and utterly unconstitutional. I just so worry that Americans are going to normalize what Trump's doing. Like Trump can tell the attorney general what to do. That's not how it works. That's not how it's supposed to work. Trump can force the Fed chair to do what he wants the Fed to do based on his political interest. That's not how monetary policy in this country should work. It's not how it's supposed to work. And the president certainly shouldn't have the Speaker of the House quite literally working for him. None of this is normal, what Trump's done. More importantly, none of it is how our system of government and separation of powers and checks and balances, none of it is how our constitutional republic is supposed to work. Thus endeth my civics lesson. Thanks for listening. By the way, if subscribe to my Substack if you'd like, Social Contract with Joe Walsh.substack.com. There it is. Everybody asks me every day, Joe, I like what you say. What's one thing I can do? The one thing you can do if you like what I say every day, support it. Become a subscriber to my Substack. Best way you can help me. Social Contract with Joe Walsh.substack.com. You want to shoot me an email, please do. My email is thesocialcontractwithjoewalsh@gmail.com. That's all one word. Thanks, Keith. thesocialcontractwithjoewalsh@gmail.com. Let's make it a good week. Thanks, everybody. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.